presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
Last weekend of baseball before the All-Star break, and Christian Yelich opened with an RBI double and a long home run, and that gave Miami a Game 1 jump. Today, say hello to Adam Conley. The lefties had some big first-half moments. The Reds are in town on a Saturday afternoon in Miami. Let's do this. And the weekend continues on a Saturday afternoon. Hot and sticky as Miami. Nice, cool, and comfortable Marlins Park. Roof shot, windows closed, AC blowing. Marlins and Reds, Game 2. Marlins Game 1 winners. Derek Dietrich had a big hit. Joey Votto struggled last night. Yeah, you know what Yelly did. Jay Bruce, hey now, he's an all-star, and so is that man. Ready to go. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Jeff Conine. All right, the Marlins have had trouble against teams with lesser records. The Reds are one of those teams. But last night, they came out with some intensity, and they got to the Reds early.
Well, they have struggled against the Atlanta Braves and Minnesota Twins, two of the worst records in baseball. But it was a Jose day yesterday, and he came through big time.
Also, they came out with Jose, but they come out with Adam Conley. And if you look back at the first half, Conley has been the Marlins' second best starter in terms of effectiveness.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what he did last time out here at home against the Atlanta Braves. Wow, best start of his career, 8 innings pitched, only gave up 4 hits. And what he's seen in the last 4 starts is very good. The Marlins are loving what they're seeing from this young pitcher.
And Conley going after the Cincinnati Reds. He was outstanding in Fort Bragg, 6 scoreless innings against the Braves. And so he gets the ball to start this ball game. All right, let's talk about John Lamb and the Reds. Lamb is a guy with a sinker and a lot of changeups. Marlins have to be very patient with this guy.
Got to be very patient with him, and you see what he's done on the road. It has not been pretty for John Lamb with an 8.51 ERA. So the Marlins have to be patient. They've hit left-handers very well, so hopefully they'll continue that tonight.
Great word, patient, because that's the word that Marcell Ozuna uses that says has turned around his numbers at the plate. That's the biggest thing that Barry Bonds has taught him. And guess what? He's now starting in the All-Star game in San Diego. presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Say hello to Adam Conley. Nice souvenir for a kid up there, ready to start against the Reds. Let's go out to center field and Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, hey, that's a good word, start, because that was the news around the Marlins. Late around batting practice today, Major League Baseball releasing this exciting news for that man, Marcell Ozuna, not only going to the All-Star game, we knew that, he was named that earlier in the week, but he is going to be starting in the All-Star game. I had a chance to talk with him about that.
In my dream, I just been there.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, if I go fifth inning or something, but play. But now starter made me fun, made me happy. My family gonna be happy. All my fans, both for me, is gonna be happy too. And I appreciate it for everybody, both for me and take care of me, and I do my best.
Dexter Fowler and Yoenis Cespedes are out with injuries, so they moved Ozuna and Carlos Gonzalez Cargo to the starters. Those two were the highest ranked outfielders on the player ballot remaining. So good for Ozuna. Look at the smile and also his humble quality. He told me he's going to be a little bit nervous. Never thought he'd be starting a game, maybe the fifth inning, he said. Justin Bourne won't be ready yet, but we'll see him soon as well. Let's go, he says, for baseball in Game 2 of the three-game series. Reds and the Marlins coming up on Fox Sports Florida. Enjoy it.
On Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com for your local dealer today. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Everybody loves Dolphins, right? Yeah. Come on inside Marlins Park. Fish, Reds, Adam Conley on his way out. As the Marlins try to make it 2 in a row and try to finish this first half with a little bit of juice. Reds lineup brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
We got Zach Cozart leading off at shortstop. Center fielders Billy Hamilton, first base Joey Votto, batting fourth in the cleanup spot Jay Bruce, in right field Adam Duvall, in left field. Those are your two all-stars. Oh, Jay Bruce, that wasn't there yesterday.
Yeah.
Second base Brandon Phillips. In the sixth spot, Eugenio Suarez at third base, catching Ramon Cabrera today. And in the ninth spot, John Lamb.
Adam Conley on the mound, and Conley looking for win number 6. He's had a really nice first half with an ERA at 3.65, and his last time out he was outstanding. He got the start at Fort Bragg, and that's not easy. You're pitching on a military base. It was a gorgeous facility, but obviously a place where no game had ever been played, and he was outstanding. In 6 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 91 pitches. Zach Cozart in the box and ready to go in game 2. Marlins last night a 3-1 win. Jose Fernandez was simply outstanding. 7 innings, a run. He's now 25-1 in his career at home.
Is that good?
That's good. Cozart ready. Fastball sails out. And this game is underway. Ed Hickok's calling balls and strikes. Ben May, Mike Estabrook, Dana DeMuth on the bases. Conley works quickly. Cozart blasts one to center. Ozuna retreats, squares, and makes the catch. 2 pitches, 1 out. Miami's defense. Jeff Conine told you about Derek Dietrich and his defense on Marlins Live. He's in there tonight. Look at that, all-star. Put a starter next to that as well, with Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton in the outfield. Prado and Chris Johnson on the corners. Dietrich and Echeverria up the middle, and JT Realmuto behind the plate. So Ozuna named a starter. In case you haven't heard, injuries forcing some tweaking to the all-star rosters and to the starting lineup. Dexter Fowler's been out for a while, and he will not be back to play in the all-star game. Yoenis Cespedes, a quad strain last night. Hamilton takes out. And Noah Syndergaard, with what is being termed arm fatigue, is out. So Jay Bruce is in, Starling Marte is in the outfield, and Drew Pomeranz of the Padres replaces Syndergaard, because you have a couple of starting outfielders, Cespedes and Fowler, who are out. In goes Ozuna to the starting lineup, and Carlos Gonzalez, Cargo, will start as well for the National League.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a better guy. You talked to Ozuna before the game today when he found out he was a starter. It was like a little kid in a candy store. He was just beside himself with excitement. His father just came in from the Dominican Republic. He's going to go out there with him, because you know what? He said, you never know. This might be my only all-star game, my only chance.
Boy, and it's, you know, how cool is it to see a player take that, not only being named an all-star, that got him to one height, but now being elevated to starter. To see a player like that at this level just take it like a 12-year-old who has been named to his Little League All-Star team, just so thrilled. And you think about how far he's come from where he was last year when he was in the depths of that slump, and then down to AAA. The work that he put in spring training with Barry Bonds and Frank Menachino, and now an all-star starter. Hamilton fighting off fastball after fastball with a count 2-2.
Yeah, good point, Rich. Just a year ago today, he was in New Orleans playing for the Zephyrs, and here he is now starting center field for the Fish and named a all-star starter.
Hamilton, lots of speed. Had a base hit last night. Change up and a good one. 82 on the pitch, and Hamilton goes down.
It's a pitch that Adam has really worked on to perfect, is this right-handed, on the right-handed batters, that change up away. You've seen him so many times go to that the cutter or the slider in to get strikeouts, but boy, if he gets this working and is able to spot that change up, it opens up the entire plate.
Quickly to Votto, who fouls it off of Realmuto. You don't see Joey Votto go through a night like he went through last night very often. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. He is a high volume walk guy. He does strike out a bit. Well, maybe more than a bit. But he looked lost last night, and a lot of that had to do with Jose Fernandez. That's a pretty good fastball from Conley in a good location. And the count's 1 ball and 1 strike. Lefty on lefty changeup, and that's in. See where pitch 2 was.
Right there on the corner.
On the radar. They become ghosts, those pitches.
Yes, they do.
Once another pitch is thrown. And he doesn't get that side of the plate either. So the count is now 3-1.
And that was also on the corner. Joey Votto really struggling this year against left-handed pitching. 202 average. Just kind of un-Votto-like. But that is Votto-like. He's taking that walk, being able to be patient and take the walk.
And possibly by reputation, those corners are tough to get for a young left-hander against a guy like Votto. And that brings up Bruce. Many people felt in Cincinnati that Jay Bruce deserved to be an all-star, and now he is. And as the Marlins know, sometimes when you're struggling as a team on the field, all-star recognition can be tough to come by. Fastball strike to Bruce, who was 0 for 4 last night. This is for Bruce a really nice resurgence. On pace to hit mid-30s in home runs.
Had a couple of down years as far as power is concerned, but this year he deserves to be an all-star. Having put up some pretty awesome numbers, and Adam Conley just paints the outside corner there.
Down goes Bruce. Conley gets through the first, leaves Votto standing at first base, and the Marlins get their first swings of the night. For the Fish, taking a long look out there at John Lamb, and this is the lineup that the Fish run out there against the Reds. It's brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Leading off and catching, JT Real Muto. Martin Prado plays third base. Out in left field, Christian Yelich. Right field, Giancarlo Stanton. Marcell Ozuna, the starting all-star. Chris Johnson gets the start over at first base. Derek Dietrich at second base, batting seventh. Adeiny Echeverria batting eighth, and batting ninth, Adam Conley.
John Lamb is 26 tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Happy birthday. Tomorrow.
6'4", 210 out of Laguna Hills, California.
Know it well.
His first pitch is a fastball. A strike to JT Real Muto. He'll throw a cutter, a two-seam sinker, a really good changeup, which he'll double and triple up on, and a breaking ball. That's the breaking ball.
Wow, 67 miles an hour. That's one of the slower breaking balls you're going to see in baseball. See how it kind of slips out of his hands with that good downward rotation. That's something, if you haven't seen it, it takes a while to get your timing down on it.
And of course, for Real Muto, that's one of the big adjustments to being a leadoff hitter, is he's stepping in the box, and he's the first guy to see what the starting pitcher has that night.
You can watch all the video you want inside the clubhouse, but when you actually get out there and see what the pitchers are doing, it's a totally different story.
Lamb started off the mound. He thought he had strike 3. Counts 1-2. Real Muto 0 for 4 last night. Prado and then Yelich also scheduled here in the first.
Lamb is kind of a slow delivery, but it jumps out of his hand pretty well. Those last 2 fastballs, 91, 92, I think surprised JT a little bit.
He's got the old school Cincinnati red pants and socks with the low cut stirrups, showing lots of red. Back to the late 60s, 70s, that the trademark big red machine.
Sure. My cohort special assistant Tony Perez knows all about that. But you watch this delivery, it's nice and slow and methodical, pretty smooth arm action going back and down, and right at the end he snaps that arm and snaps that wrist, and it comes out of his hand pretty quickly. So we talk about that perceived velocity.
Oh, there's that breaking ball. Real Muto punches it in the gap around first. He'll hold there as the throw comes in from Duvall. That's the importance of seeing that pitch earlier in the at-bat.
Yeah, a lot of pitchers won't break out a pitch like this until later after they face the lineup for the first time, and that's the problem with a pitch that slow. If you get it elevated, you got plenty of time to make your adjustment. You saw him keep his hands back there and slap it to the left center.
Now Martin Prado. There's the variance of speed from 92 the top end, 65 the low end. And that is a large variance in the major league standards. Strike to Prado, a couple hits in last night's ball game. And a move over to first. The Marlins have hit lefties well this year. Prado is one of the leaders of the parade. Prado 5th in the National League. Marcell Ozuna is now 4th, and that would be sliding Jason Worth at the top of that list at 385. Paul Goldschmidt, Yoenis Cespedes, then Ozuna, and then Prado.
And you look at as a team, average-wise, actually a little bit lower than versus right-handers, 264 versus 276.
Oh-2. There's a ground ball off the glove of Suarez, and Real Muto's going to get to third. Prado didn't stop. He gets to second. Well, how about that? Suarez reached and got just a piece of it. The Reds were not going to get a double play on the ball. And as it is, they don't get anything, and the Marlins have second and third.
Man, you got to love Martin Prado's aggressiveness here, taking that chance to go into second base. You see Duvall there, kind of rushed it at the very end, couldn't get a handle on it. He gets into second base easily. But right here, he's hustling all the way. He sees it. He never even stopped, never even slowed down. I think that's what the Marlins really need to improve on this second half, is that aggressive base running like we saw there from Martin Prado.
Yelich, first pitch swinging down the left field line and foul. Prado's going to get a double on that ball. And that's the only choice as a score, because once it goes off of Suarez's glove, that's not an error. He's reaching and sliding for it. And Prado never stopped.
And that's a key too. And the base runner never stops. He keeps on his forward progress. Official score will give him a double on that all the time.
Breaking ball pops out of the glove of Cabrera, and the Marlins have a run on a messy start for the Reds. And it looked like Cabrera was crossed up.
He was definitely crossed up.
Wow.
You see him come out of that catching position. He thought it was a fastball. It's that slow curveball, and it just handcuffed him.
Now this is going to be ruled a pass ball, but it can be changed to a wild pitch if it's determined that he did cross him up.
I'm surprised there was no meeting between Lamb and Cabrera after that pitch, just to say, let's get on the same page here.
Yelich takes in the count 2-1. So the infield's still back, and Yelich can now drive in a run with just a simple ground ball. Fouls it at the plate. Yesterday had an RBI double early, and then this late.
Yeah, looking at the bat coming through the zone, I thought he was going to pull it, and when he didn't, I didn't think he got it. And I talked to him in the clubhouse afterwards. He said, I didn't think I got it either, but he put a good piece of that barrel on there and muscled it out to center field. Not too many times you hear the word Yelich and muscle in the same sentence, but
you know the interesting thing though is that's a happy zone for lefties, right?
It is that down and in for some reason.
But and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but Yelich isn't a traditionally drop the barrel guy and go to right field with it or to center, is he?
No, he's not.
3-2. There's that changeup, 74 miles an hour. And that gets Yelich. Here comes Stanton. And here comes the Reds defense. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Adam Duvall and Jay Bruce, corner outfielders, both all-stars. Billy Hamilton in center. Suarez and Votto on the corners. Cozart, Phillips, very good defensively up the middle. And Ramon Cabrera behind the plate. Now, here's Stanton. This should be an interesting battle. You've got a guy who can really change speeds, will do so ad nauseum, as in double or triple up on a changeup. Throws that floating curveball, which we've seen to a couple of hitters. And a fastball is a strike. It's 1-1. Brian Price, manager of the Reds.
We talk about having confidence in a pitch, though. A 3-2 changeup to Christian Yelich to get him to swing and miss is pretty impressive.
Stanton holds up, and it's 2-1.
Like we said, you look at Lamb and what he's thrown out there. That pitch was a pretty good pitch down the strike zone, but what he's thrown out there so far in this first inning, he's shown the Marlins his entire repertoire in the first 4 batters of this game.
And his best pitch to Stanton has been that fastball located on the outside part. Now he can throw a changeup or a breaking ball, and Stanton hasn't seen either of those pitches. Prado waiting at third. And that's what he did.
The changeup.
So that changeup has brought him 2 strikeouts when he's needed them the most.
See that good arm speed. You see the good down action as it crosses home plate. And that's the key to a good changeup. As a hitter, you're looking at arm speed. I'm swinging at the arm speed that pitch has. And when I see it first come out of the hand, I think it's a fastball.
Jim Riggleman, bench coach for Brian Price, former major league manager. Ozuna goes after the first pitch and pops it up behind the mound. Phillips is calling and catching, and the Marlins get just one, lead it 1-0.
Fútbol está disponible en español a través del SAP y es presentado a ustedes por Kendall Toyota y West Kendall Toyota.
Marlins Park, 1-0. Miami on top. She's rocking old school Marlin jersey. Got the cool lid going as well. As the Fish and the Reds on a Saturday afternoon. Adam Conley, Adam Duvall. And there's strike one with Brandon Phillips. Eugenio Suarez also due up.
And when you look at Conley's deliver right after Lamb got off the mound, they're fairly similar as far as arm action is concerned. Conley throws a little bit more across his body, but very similar as the way their pitches cross the plate.
Tempo in terms of windup, Conley a little speedier to get rolling. That one is hammered left field and deep and gone. Goodness. Adam Duvall's 23rd of the season has tied this game at a run apiece, and that is what has made him an all-star. I mean, what he hopes is his first full season in the big leagues.
Yeah, not too special on batting average, only 250 coming into this game, but you see the elevated breaking pitch there, and wow, he lashed this ball into their own bullpen. Like you said, he's extra base hits, one of the tops in the league, tops in left fielders as far as extra base hits are concerned.
So Duvall has homered. Brandon Phillips is up. He swings and misses. The count is 1-1. When Conley gets hit by a long ball, it's generally later in the start, as he did in Detroit 2 starts ago. Miguel Cabrera and Jose Iglesias both homered. That was in a big 5th inning. A loss for Conley and the Fish. There's the changeup, slowly hit, gotta hurry. Etch does and makes that play very well. So an out here in the second.
Danny Echeverria for me is one of the best shortstops in the game at making this play. That ground ball where it's slowly hit but right at you, you've got to bend all the way over, get both hands down there, and he gets rid of it so quickly with some a little bit on the throw too. It's fun to watch him every day.
Suarez takes a strike. 1 for 3 last night. Reds come in at 32-55 in the basement of the Central. You know, the Cubs at the top of the Central have not been playing well lately, and yet for all their struggles, they still have a 7.5 game lead. That equals the biggest lead of any division. Cleveland has a 7.5 game lead also in the Central over in the American League. But the Pirates are 7.5 back. St. Louis 8 games back. Johnson to the wall, and it's into the seats. And I guess the question in the Central right now is, are the Cubs as good as their record and their lead, or are they vulnerable like they've played over the last 25 games? This is certainly a rebuilding year for the Reds. They will not challenge. Jam shot center field. Ozuna's there and he makes the catch. Tomorrow, Jeff Conine, you'll be running the bases after the game. I know it. With the Diamond Dash, it's the Marlins and the Reds. 110 start. Pepsi 4 for 74 pack. Get you a great deal, get you into the ballpark, and kids get a wristband set courtesy of Avianca Airlines. Marlins.com, your place for tickets. Cabrera knocks that one back into the seats, a foul ball. 4 o'clock start on a Saturday. Bouncer third. Prado gets that momentum going to first. Fires a strike. Adam Duvall, a solo shot to tie it. It's 1-1. And the Marlins, a 1-1 tie with the Reds. Auto Nation provides this scouting report for John Lamb, presented by Jeff Conine.
Cueto bounty. He came in from the Johnny Cueto trade. Adds and subtracts. We've seen so far a whole slew of pitches. Adds off that fastball, inside, outside, changeup, big slow curveball, and kind of cuts a little fastball.
You saw the cake reference.
His birthday boy tomorrow.
There you go.
26.
He has a distinctly, I want to say, throwback look, not to the Reds of the, 60s and 70s. They could not wear long hair or any facial hair. I believe it was Bob Howsam, who used to be the president of the Reds, who was very into that. That's why those Big Red Machine teams were all clean cut.
I played golf with Raleigh Fingers one time in a golf tournament, and I was just asking him about his career and what he had done, and he said, I went to camp with the Cincinnati Reds and they were interested in signing me, and they said, Raleigh, you got to shave off your mustache. So he said, I retired.
He wouldn't do it. Well, of course, that was a great contrast to the 72 World Series, was Fingers and Oakland. Swing and a miss as Lamb strikes out Chris Johnson. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, Rich, talking about Mr. Lamb, he grew up in California like you guys. California, a little more southern than you, Rich, in Northern California. So it was real neat for him to make his major league debut with the Royals all these years, get traded for the Reds last year in the Cueto deal. And look where his debut was, none other than Dodger Stadium, August 14, 2015. Didn't win the game, but said thrived on the experience. You can say Lamb bleeds Dodger blue. His grandfather, John Ramsey, who had a baritone voice that you could hear through the television set and was the PA announcer at Dodger games forever, along with many other teams in Southern California. And Ramsey, who died at a young age of 62 in the early 90s, well, one of his rings was given to Lamb, one of his Dodger World Series rings. But you never could forget those Dodger teams, 70s, 80s, even the Rams, I think, too. And you probably know his voice well, Jeff Conine. John Ramsey, longtime voice at Dodger Stadium.
I like that, Craig, when you said Dodger Stadium, like Vince Scully would say it.
Well, as I remember, the voice, the way he introduced a Dodger that would come to the plate, it would always start with, "For the Dodgers, no batting, Davey Lopes."
I totally remember that. It was almost that echoey sound because the speakers were out in center field.
Francais.
There you go. Derek Dietrich here. Dietrich with a 2-2 count and 1 out. Dietrich, a tremendous first half. Just look at the numbers as he climbs in. A 307 average, 400 on base, 447 slugging percentage.
And we talked about that in Marlins Live about how Derek Dietrich has stepped in while Dee Gordon is on his suspension and done a remarkable job of filling in.
So far, that breaking ball for John Lamb has worked well, especially against the lefties. He's got 2 outs here in the second. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. In the air to right. Phillips is out and makes the catch, and John Lamb goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the second. Tuesday night in San Diego on Fox. Biggest stars, biggest stage. Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. 4 Marlins will be there. A pair of Reds. And if you haven't heard the news, Marcell Ozuna elevated to starting outfielder. In the absence of Yoenis Cespedes, quad injury last night. It is John Lamb who leads it off. Adam Conley, a fastball strike. Lamb, Zach Kozar, and Billy Hamilton. And another strike. Of course, the All-Star news is decidedly Mets slanted, but not in a good way if you're a Mets fan. With Cespedes out, Mets hope that that's just a 3-4 day and he's back at the end of the All-Star break. But Syndergaard, obviously with the bone chip, and as well they're calling it arm fatigue, he's out as well. And Conley strikes out John Lamb. And so with Matt Harvey undergoing surgery, now Syndergaard out. And for the Mets, they've endured an awful lot of injury news of late.
When you look at this All-Star break, yeah, it's an honor to be named to the All-Star game. It's an honor to play in the All-Star game. But if you've got a nagging injury, it's nice to take those 4 days and just completely either get treated or take them off. Because overall picture, I mean, the season is much more important than that one game.
Cozart swings and misses. Conley has looked great, except the one pitch to Adam Duvall. The changeup is a pitch he's really used tonight and mixed in for strikeouts.
That's actually that slider. He's going down and in there. Had that knuckle up on the slider pitch, and when you get a big league hitter like Cozart to swing at a ball out of the strike zone, it means it's got very good movement, very good deception.
41 pitches in. And Billy Hamilton fouls off a pitch. He struck out back in the first inning.
Adam Conley as a defender would be a great guy to play behind. He works fast. He gets the ball, gets back up on the mound, and keeps the flow of the game going. There's another great changeup on the outside part of the plate. Just off the inside corner. Boy, that looked like a really good pitch. See if he comes back with the changeup away. Another fastball right down the middle.
Conley does not give a hitter a chance to really catch his breath. Another changeup. And the count's 1-2.
He was the kind of pitcher that we wanted to have on getaway days, Rich.
Now you were a Met briefly, right?
I was.
Did you ever have Steve Traxel on a getaway day?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I faced Steve Traxel on many getaway days when he was a Cub.
Change up, swing and a miss, and down goes Billy Hamilton. Adam Conley and the Marlins 1-1 with the Reds. In this sense, against lefties on the left, righties on the right. Look at that left plant foot. A different spot for a different side of the plate. Here's Adam Conley, and I'll ask you, Jeff Conine, what does that accomplish? Have you seen that much out of left-handers?
I don't think I've ever seen that much movement on the rubber during the course of a game. You might see a guy inch over a little bit just to find a comfort zone, but when you look at switching it every batter, if it's a left-right combo, that is something unique I have not seen.
Conley swings and misses a breaking ball.
I know a lot of times the left-handed pitchers would like to stand on the far left of the rubber, or right if you're looking at it from the plate, to have that angle to get in on right-handed hitters. But he actually stands on a right-handed hitter closer, so that angle is not as severe going into the right-handed hitter.
But much more severe on the breaking stuff for the lefties.
Yes. He can start that ball at the left-handed hitter and break it over the strike zone.
So here's Real Muto, and he's back to the other side of the rubber, and he misses glove side as this. That's the baseball lingo. Missing on your glove side. Fastball strike. Real Muto banged a single to left. The Marlins were set up. Prado's ground ball deflected off of Suarez's glove at third for a double after the Real Muto hit. So it was second and third and nobody out. And the next pitch that John Lamb threw crossed up his catcher and popped off of Cabrera's shoulder and went to the screen. And the Marlins had a run and a runner at third and nobody out. With Yelich, Stanton, and Ozuna all lined up. And that's when Lamb really dazzled. He struck out Yelich, he struck out Stanton, good off-speed stuff to both, and Ozuna popped out.
Yeah, that off-speed changeup to Christian Yelich was a 3-2 pitch. Perfect location.
You know, the other thing in watching, especially against the right-handed hitters, watching Lamb on the rubber, he's not only way off the rubber, he doesn't really push off. He kind of almost separates his foot. Most guys use the front of that rubber to start and some to push off.
You see that pitch there, he was all the way on the right side for JT, which he started off on the left side, and now he's back to the left.
He moves all over the place.
That's crazy. I've never seen that before.
And Real Muto strikes out. I'll tell you what, the Marlins, he's got the Marlins off balance right now, and this pitch is a big reason why.
You see the rotation on his changeup too. It looks like a fastball rotation. It's not, it doesn't have that sideways rotation. So I think when you got good arm speed like that, the Marlins hitters are recognizing that as a fastball out of his hand.
This is Martin Prado. 67 miles an hour. What is that? 8 pitches below 70 miles an hour already. He zings in an 89-mile-an-hour fastball whose perceived velocity must be mid-90s after the changeup and the breaking ball.
I tell you, Rich, when you look at his line, he's 1-5 with a 5.21 ERA. He's got a fair number of walks. He certainly doesn't seem like that type of pitcher when you watch him pitch today. He has had 3 blown saves in games that he has started this year that could add to that win column, but the rest of the line just doesn't add up to what he's doing today.
Prado got one of those breaking balls up, and he sends it into left. That's a 2-out single. If you place your deposit on a 2017 season ticket plan today, it gets you access to the 2017 All-Star Game in Miami. It's your chance to secure seats for a once-in-a-generation event. Deposits start at just $250. 1-877-MARLINS, or go to marlins.com/season tickets. Now Yelich. Lamb has shown just a cursory move. Maybe the better word would be rudimentary, elementary.
That's the show me move.
Yes, not the A move.
Not the A move.
Fascinating to watch Yelich against a guy like this. Yelich, a guy who knows the strike zone so well, does not get fooled much, and yet that changeup got him on a 3-2 count in the first.
Yeah, he hit 286 off lefties. There's another changeup down. Almost the exact same one he swung over to strike out. Watch the rotation on this changeup. It's an up and down rotation, just like a fastball is, but it just doesn't quite get to the plate. Reminds me a lot of, from the right side, Trevor Hoffman's changeup. It's one of the best changeups I've ever faced. One of the best closers I've ever faced was just like that. His arm speed was so accelerated through the baseball, but it had that backwards rotation like a fastball. You thought you were getting a fastball.
Big breaking ball, and he strikes out Yelich for the second time tonight. John Lamb is dealing for the Reds. Adam Conley for the Fish. A 1-1 game into the fourth. It's Marlins in the fourth in Miami. GMC presents big matchup. Career against the Fish. Joey Votto has great numbers against most opponents, but against the Marlins he's done a lot of damage. Adam Conley fires in a fastball for a strike. And in Miami he's just a few ticks better in the average and the on-base percentage. This is Joey Votto. Votto now 32. Of course, an enormous contract and a long one. It's signed through 2023 and has $180 million left on it.
Wow.
Fastball in.
So that makes him 39 or 40 when he
very wealthy. It makes him very wealthy.
Well, that too. Interestingly enough, you know, you talk about the great hitters ballpark at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Votto hitting just .215 at home, .292 on the road.
Two balls, two strikes. Of course, the Reds traded a guy that was around him in the lineup, Todd Frazier. That one of the big trades in the offseason, along with some starting pitchers, Cueto, Mike Leake. Cueto, of course, dealt trading deadline last year and ended up in San Francisco. That one to the right side. Johnson a long way from home, but Conley is there to get to the bag. Votto's retired. There's one out here in the fourth. Marlins and Reds on a Saturday afternoon in Miami as the afternoon creeps towards night. Lefties are on the mound for both. For the Marlins, really the second best starter that the Marlins have had in the first half, Adam Conley. Jay Bruce whips that one into the corner. Stanton to the wall to get it. And Bruce motors into second with a double.
You missed a Jay Bruce, named to the All-Star team earlier. He gets that changeup out and away. He's got enough time to get outside of it and hook it down the line. Jay Bruce having one of the better seasons he's had in his career so far. Another hitter that's hitting much better on the road than at Great American Ballpark.
It's hard to believe. That is a great place to hit. At least that's the rumor.
I will attest to that.
As a bona fide Cincinnati Red and a close personal friend of Rosie Red and Mr. Red Legs, just to balance the ticket out.
Yes.
A 1 pitch to Duvall, who homered to left for the only run for Cincinnati. Mr. Red and Mr. Red Legs. I believe the Mets had the very first mascot in baseball back in the 40s, where that mascot, the baseball head, a precursor to Mr. Met, appeared back in the 40s for the Reds, who are, I think, the oldest franchise in baseball.
I believe you're right. For the longest time, the Cincinnati Reds would always have the first game on the schedule because of that fact, because they were the first team to be franchised, I guess you'd call it, or started.
You know, oftentimes when you throw out a fact like I just did and say, I think, you quickly go to the media guide to see if you were right. And so the first page I opened on was the history of Reds broadcasters. And I figured I'd look at that. And 1924 was the first year the Reds were on the air. That one is pulled foul. So obviously that's not a good reference point to decide when the Reds first started to play baseball. But it is worth noting they did not have a television or cable deal in place in 1924. They were on WMH. Gene Mittendorf was the voice of the Reds. And Duvall goes down.
Boy, that's a great breaking ball by Adam Conley. A 3-2 pitch. He's got that nice downward break down and into that right hand. Here he swings right over it. Perfect pitch and a big strikeout.
(1876). The Reds beat the Cardinals, or at least the St. Louis baseball team, to open their season on the 25th of April. Cherokee Fisher was the winning pitcher in 1876. So 1876 for the Reds. Conley with a good breaking ball. He's out in front 0-2. Look at the sharp angle. And that's why some think he's been more effective against the right-handed bats than the left-handed bats, is that angle of descent.
Good point. That slider down and in has been the equalizer against right-handed hitters, and to find out what the splits are now, but lefties were hitting almost 100 points higher than right-handed batters.
Into right, that's a hit. Good start by Bruce. Stanton up with it, and his throw is high. Runner going to second, and Real Muto can't handle the throw. And the Reds not only get a run, but they get an extra base. It's Brandon Phillips, who's playing with a hairline fracture in his hand from getting hit last night, as an RBI single.
Fights this ball off, kind of gets jammed a little bit to right field. With 2 outs, Jay Bruce is going on the swing, so he got a good jump. Giancarlo Stanton's throw sails high. Brandon Phillips never stopped running. I think if JT comes up cleanly with this, they might have a chance at throwing him out at second base. This is what you're taught to do as a base runner. You want that run, you want that RBI, you just keep on running. Try to make that guy cut the ball so they go after you and let the run score.
Here is Suarez now, and he takes a strike. Another strike.
Talked about the splits. Lefty righty off of Conley. Conley 300 average. Lefties have a 300 average against Conley. Right-handers just 224.
You will see in some lineups a few more lefty bats than you would expect against a lefty starter, but haven't really seen a manager empty his bench of lefties and throw them in there to start a game against Conley. And in contrast to Lamb, look at where Conley places that left foot. Almost dead center. Busted bat. Dietrich on a hop gets the out, but the Reds take the lead. A double by Jay Bruce. Brandon Phillips chases him home, and the Red bobbleheads love it. Miami Marlins baseball, Fox Sports Florida, is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Checkers, fast foodies know the deal. Early evening in Miami, 2-1 Cincinnati. Giancarlo Stanton. Fastball for a strike from John Lamb. Marcell Ozuna and Chris Johnson to follow. Lamb has kept Miami off balance with a terrific changeup, a big curveball. And he has spotted his fastball like that one. He figured, you know what, I'm going to throw fastballs at Giancarlo Stanton, and he's out in front 0-2. And then shuffles his feet.
Well, I think he's got the Marlins hitters really guessing right now on what he's going to throw. He's throwing up so many different pitches, 4 of them for strikes.
Changeup, Stanton got it on a hop though. Kozar picks it and gets him out. So 1 out here in the 4th.
It's amazing that Stanton even gets to this ball, gets outside of it, the outside corner, hooks it. Kozar kind of said, hey, look what I got. He talked to opposing infielders on the other team when Giancarlo Stanton comes up. Nobody feels safe. Even shortstop, I remember Troy Tulowitzki saying he was afraid at shortstop when Giancarlo got up to the plate.
Now Ozuna, he chased a high pitch and popped out to end the 1st. Johnson behind him. Ball and a strike. Lamb, a really unique pitcher. We've seen him start on the extreme first base side of the rubber, and then on the third base side of the rubber. We've seen him move in the same at bat against a hitter. And he has Ozuna all locked up right now.
Rich, this is the guy that came into the game today with an 8.51 ERA on the road. Just cannot get it done on the road. Their opponents averaging well over 300 against him, and he's just stifling the Marlins today.
He does, and he kind of, I mean, with that long hair, if you saw the clip when Craig was talking about his Dodger ties last year, his hair shorter, everything a little tighter, but now he's got it going on. I mean, there was that old obscure movie, Mel Brooks movie, Robin Hood Men in Tights. I mean, he looks like he's right out of that, like some old Shakespearean character. Swing and a miss, and Johnson goes down. And John Lamb right now is baffling Miami. 2-1 Cincinnati. I can't believe I just referenced Mel Brooks. Climbing up, bat in hand, is due up second in this inning. Geico presents this Marlins moment. 7-run deficit, no problem in Arizona. The Marlins had a 10-run 8th, won that game 14-7. That was a big night in the desert. believe that guys that homered, Jorge Cantu maybe, Brett Carroll, I think Cody Ross had a big night in that one. This is Ramon Cabrera, switch hitting catcher. Fly ball right field. Stanton chasing in the corner at the wall. Base of the wall, and it bounces by him, and it comes back towards the infield. And that's going to mean it. Oh, stopping at second is Cabrera. And I don't know if Billy Hatcher, the third base coach, had the stop sign up. But you expected that was at least 3 bases. Now he is a catcher, but he seemed to get out of the box pretty well.
Yeah, I thought he had a good head of steam, and you see that hit the bottom of the wall there and carry him way off. I thought he could have walked to third. You see it? He's picking up his coach, I guess Hatcher must have told him to hold up.
Well, you've got Lamb up now. Reds picked up a run in the 4th on the Phillips single. Adam Duvall's homer in the 2nd got them their other run. And let's see if Lamb can bunt. And he bunts it foul.
There's usually only one, for me, there's only one situation where you'd use a third base coach, and that's down the line where you can't crane your neck far enough to see where that ball's doing in the corner. If it's in front of you, I think you should make your own decision on whether to go to third base or not.
Billy Hatcher, a World Series hero for the Reds, that Lou Piniella led Reds team.
1990, was it?
Believe so. Oakland favored, and the Reds swept. Eric Davis made that great catch, put him in the hospital actually. Hatcher had a big series that went fouled at the plate.
The Nasty Boys, Rob Dibble, Randy Myers, Norm Charlton in the back of that bullpen.
I remember Piniella one time saying that Billy Hatcher was one of his, if not the most, one of the most favorite players that he ever managed.
Oh, he's been with the Reds for a long time. I had him as a coach there in 2007, and just a great guy to be around. Always positive, always good mood. Good coach to have on your staff.
One and two. Top of the order's on deck. Lamb fouls it off, and he strikes out. Final game, first half, is tomorrow. Tom Kohler gets the baseball for the Fish. Craig Minervini strapped in for Marlins Live. South Florida Hunt Dealers proud to present it. Now the lefty on the mound for the Reds. Sit down with Jose Fernandez and chat about his upcoming All-Star appearance. Cody Reed is the lefty for the Reds. So Lamb strikes out trying to bunt. Here's Cozart. You got Hamilton on deck, and he fouls it back to the screen. Right center. Stanton there has it. And that's out number 2, and here comes Hamilton.
Well, that turned out to be a big play there. Rich Cabrera not going to third base. That's a sac fly. If he would have been standing at third base, that's an easy run for the Reds.
So Conley gets back on the mound, trying to get out of this 5th inning and leave Cabrera out at second. He's had Hamilton twice with changeups.
Marlins pitchers keeping Hamilton off the base paths. Obviously, one of the more famous minor league seasons in history. Stole 150 bases in a minor league season.
He had prodigious stolen base numbers in the minor leagues.
This year, sitting at number 3 in the National League with 22 stolen bases.
His biggest challenge has been getting on base at a high enough on base percentage to get more bases. Twice he's finished second in the stolen base chase behind D. Gordon. Line drive, Echeverria's got it. And fortunate for the Fish, that found a glove. And so Conley does escape the 5th inning. Halfway through, a tight one. 2-1 Cincinnati. Reds on top. Don't think that's Mac Jenkins. He is a young guy. There he is. Incognito right now. Toyota inside look. 27 pitchers used, most in the majors. Maybe that's why he was incognito. 12 starting pitchers and a club record 30-17 was back in 2003. So the Reds are on pace to blow right by that club record. Here's Dietrich and a fastball for a strike from John Lamb. And if you're just joining us, there he is. Interim pitching coach. Dietrich pulls one to Brandon Phillips at second. And there is an out. Of course, when things started, he was not the Reds pitching coach. He was the assistant pitching coach and bullpen coach. And Mark Riggins was the pitching coach. He was relieved of his duties a couple weeks ago. Brian Price, the manager, and certainly a year in flux for the Reds, a major rebuild job. And so far, tough sledding in the first half of this season. Echeverria swings and misses. The count's 0-2.
Boy, look at what Lamb's done today. We talked about having a 5+ ERA and 8+ ERA on the road. Today he's given up 1 earned run, no walks, and tied a career high with 8 strikeouts, and we're only in the 5th inning.
And a breaking ball gets Echeverria.
That's his career high.
9. Now he looks like a throwback guy, right? We decided that he could pitch on that 1876 Cincinnati team, which was a charter member of the new National League. But the problem was this: the Reds sold beer in their ballpark, and they rented their park out on Sundays, and that went against the longtime president of the National League, William Hulbert. And so they kicked him out. They kicked the Reds out for selling beer and renting the ballpark out on Sundays. That's because the Reds president refused to sign a pledge that the other owners signed. So they started in 1876. They came back to the National League. I think there was a change of leadership in the National League, or the other owners,
the head of beer sales.
Yeah, the other owners figured they could make a buck or two on selling beer, even on Sundays maybe. So that's how the Reds started. They were in the league, then they got kicked out for selling beer, and then they came back. The Cincinnati Red Stockings. Conley ducking away from that breaking ball. This guy right now, John Lamb, is just dominating the Marlins.
Pretty good pitch count, only up to 72 pitches right now on the day. No walks coming into today at 29 walks and just in 62 innings. Now has 16 pitches below 70 miles an hour.
Look at the ball strike ratio is great as well. Conley hangs in against a breaking ball. The count stays at 2-2. I don't think Skyline Chili had opened up in 1876 in Cincinnati. Off of Lamb's glove, Conley hustling, and he beats it. Good hustle. And that's going to go as an infield hit, you would expect.
This ball might have been up the middle if Lamb had not stopped it with his glove, but he deflects it into no man's land.
And it buys Real Muto in at bat with 2 outs.
That's a great way to flip the lineup over. Get JT up to the plate. Ooh, the Marlins can figure something out off Lamb, and that's a great shot there. Great start.
Into right center. Conley stops at second. Lenny Harris had that left hand up right away. Marlins, I'm sure, don't want their starting pitcher blowing out in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, and they don't want him having to slide maybe on a close play to third base. Pitchers aren't sliding a whole lot, but great approach there by JT. The hardest hit ball we've seen today by a Marlins player off of Lamb.
And that gets Martin Prado in at bat. And of all the Marlin hitters, the 2 best against Lamb are at the top of the order. And that's Prado and Real Muto. Real Muto now with 2 singles. Prado has a double and a single. Mac Jenkins has emerged for a visit on the mound. Bring your group to Marlins Park. Enjoy group pricing and seating with the burger and beer package. Beer Fest, all you can eat seats, kids seat free Wednesday, and all of that. Great place for the group Marlins sales team at 1-877 Marlins. You go to marlins.com/groups. So here's Prado. And at the very least, the Marlins have pushed the pitch count to Lamb into the upper 70s.
Conley had a nice 7-pitch at bat there against Lamb.
Catches the corner at 85 miles an hour for a strike. Career high 9 strikeouts, hasn't walked a hitter. He's given up just 5 hits. But you see that 3rd time through, that's where issues have started for Lamb. Prado narrowly missing a ball down the line. It's 0-2.
Martin Prado, 392 average versus left-handed pitching this year. One of the tops in the National League.
And that buoyed by his 2 hits tonight. Slow breaking ball. And the count 1-2. It's into Prado.
There's the famous Prado grunt, expecting collision with the baseball there.
I think rather than use Fox tracks, anytime you hear, those are some sweet looking tats, Niner. Rivaling the ink work that you've got all over your back. Here's the 2-2. That one is foul. Just kidding, kids. And it's 2-2.
Just kidding, kids.
You can replace Fox tracks on any pitch that's in with a audible Prado Fox tracks. If
yes.
It grunts and yelps, it's in. That's almost an automatic. To right, Bruce giving chase at the track, and he missed it. He flat out missed it. Conley scores, Real Muto scores, and Miami has the lead.
Wow. Like you said, Rich, a complete misplay here by Jay Bruce. He's tracking this baseball. He's there in plenty of time, but it goes back over his head and bounces off the wall. That'll be another double for Martin Prado. He missed that badly.
Wow, that's a nice break for Miami. It was hit well. And here's Yelich. So 3 hits, 2 doubles for Prado, and that's a 2-run double.
Boy, you look at the way the Marlins have scored their 3 runs today. The first inning was a pass ball to get on the board first with a 1-0 lead, and then you have a missed fly ball by Jay Bruce, and that's 2 more.
0-2 to Yelich, who struck out in the first inning on a 75-mile-an-hour changeup, 68 miles an hour in the 3rd inning, both strikeouts. He got a fastball that was up.
When you struck out on 2 pitches like that from a guy like Lamb, Yelich has got to be thinking off speed.
So he gets a fastball and he lines it foul.
And he was thinking off speed and hit that out of the catcher's glove pretty much.
Jumbo Diaz in the bullpen. Aptly named. That one lifted out into the seats. So as a hitter, what's the sequence if you're Yelich? Is it look breaking ball but prepare for the fastball? How do you balance that?
I've always felt that you have to sit fastball first and foremost, because you can't speed up your bat speed. You have to be ready for the fastest pitch that's going to come to you.
Chopper to third. Suarez on to first in time. But the Marlins, and think back to that Conley hit with 2 outs that got it started. The Fish get 2 and lead it by 1. is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Jay Bruce still steamed. His manager Brian Price just watched the Reds cough up a 1-run lead. And here's the comparison of the lefties. Lamb and Conley, 16 strikeouts between them. And we'll see how Conley fares here. Heart of the order for the Reds. And remember, Conley legged out an infield hit with 2 outs to get that rally started. And this is always for Don Mattingly, for Conley, that 6th, 7th inning is one where he really keeps a close eye on the young lefty.
And here, after the mistake by Jay Bruce, and now you have the lead, you want that shutdown inning in the heart of the Cincinnati order.
Votto to short, Echeverria. And an out here in the 6th. Marlins suites, and you can get them with a 3 and a 6 game plan. Preferred pricing if you do it that way. Variable suite sizes. You can get a big one, you can get a small one, and you select the games you want. Plus a 6 game plan will get you renewal and guaranteed tickets to the 2017 All-Star Game in Miami. Here's Bruce. He fouls it off. So secure your suite plan today. 1-877 Marlins. Go to marlins.com. Jay Bruce named to the All-Star team. Saw John Lamb there watching.
What do you think is on Jay Bruce's mind right now?
Oh, just tie this game up, make amends for that miscue in right field. That's the hard part about baseball, isn't it, though, Jeff? It's unlike a lot of sports. When you make a mistake, you don't necessarily have a chance to change the game in with another play.
Yeah, when you get that thought process going in your head, it really has a way of derailing your mechanics, where it's counterintuitive. I'm going to try to hit this ball hard and far, but everything tightens up and you end up taking a bad swing.
Hits that ball well. Ozuna back at the track, and he makes the catch. And so 2 outs for Conley, and here comes Adam Duvall.
It's the power that Jay Bruce has. That ball's down and away. Gets it, I think, toward the end of the bat a little bit. Marcell Ozuna has been taking some fantastic routes this year. I love it when he drops his head, runs to a spot, and is able to catch that ball way ahead of time.
Well, with Duvall up and Conley at 87 pitches, Don Mattingly is going to go to the bullpen. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. David Phelps is up and ready, and he's coming in. Of baseball. Well, the news for the Mets, not good yesterday. Noah Syndergaard with arm fatigue. Yoenis Cespedes with a quad strain. And, of course, Matt Harvey announcing he had to undergo thoracic outlet syndrome surgery. Jake Arrieta is all of a sudden human. See his last 4 starts. And Yunel Escobar, who was a Marlin for about a week, and then he turned in magically into Derek Dietrich as a 13-game hit streak. Escobar came from the Blue Jays in that big trade after the 2012 season. So Adam Conley comes out, and you know, one of the things Don Mattingly said when Fernando Rodney was acquired is that it would help him shorten the game, and this certainly is taking that tact. With 2 outs in the 6th, Phelps for Duvall, who homered against Conley back in the 2nd. And it was not a particularly good road trip for the Marlin bullpen. And so a chance to try to finish this first half on an up note.
Phelps nice and rested. Last appearance July 4th, Monday, against the New York Mets.
'23 homers, Duvall an all-star. It's certainly on Tuesday night, if Duvall gets into the game and there's a chance to tell his story, he'll be one of those guys that, I mean, he hasn't really come out of nowhere, but he's come out of somewhat of oblivion. He spent 125 games at AAA last year between the Giants and the Reds system. And now here he is, an all-star. The Mike Leake trade. Also in his story, the fact that he is a type 1 diabetic. That's not easy for any athlete.
Phelps goes upstairs here. Might have got Duvall to chase out of the zone. That's a pretty tough pitch to get on top of. Phelps' arm pretty lively today. You've seen 95 on the gun so far. That ball is well above the strike zone.
Popped him up, but that's back behind the screen.
I'm sure Don Mattingly would love to set up the back end of this game with Phelps finishing in this inning and probably going back out for the 7th, I would think. Bringing Rodney in the 8th and Ramos in the 9th.
Outside corner, and Duvall doesn't like it. Phelps enters and takes care of business. And the Reds are done in the 6th in a 1-run game on a Saturday in Miami. Coors, timeless moment. Mike Lowell, timeless himself in 2002. Went 2 for 3 with a run, his first All-Star game. That was the 7-7 tie at Milwaukee's Miller Park. And who would have thought that Miller would purchase Coors, making this a seamless promo. We didn't plan it that way, but it works out that way. Here is Jumbo Diaz. And Diaz with an ERA of 5.5, appearance number 16. Was just promoted from Louisville at the end of June. Was on the opening day roster. .278 pounds, 6'4", out of the Dominican Republic. And it's Stanton. Takes a fastball that's in.
And as a man of his stature, you would think that he'd have a pretty good fastball. And that first one, 97 for Diaz.
Stanton takes a rip, pops it up, and end up behind the Reds dugout. Jumbo's given name is Jose. But he has embraced the nickname Jumbo, using it in his Twitter handle. 1-1. This is away to Stanton at 97 miles an hour. Stanton, Ozuna, Johnson, Marlins 6th. That misplay by Jay Bruce in right field, large right now. Went for a 2-run double in the 5th. Stanton drives it center field deep. Hamilton back, has room, and at the track makes the catch. Into the bat.
Yeah, you know when Giancarlo Stanton, when it goes off the bat like that, he mishit it off the end of the bat, like you said. Maybe a little too quick on the trigger with this swing. You see it off the end. Doesn't quite have the carry to get out of Marlins Park, dead center. Good swing, though.
You like the balance?
I do like the balance. I like the bat path. I think if you just, on that one in particular, if you let it travel a little bit more, it probably goes to right center.
Ozuna now. I think Ozuna's happy that John Lamb is no longer in there. Ozuna popped out in the 1st and then was called out on strikes in the 4th. Nationals and Mets later tonight in New York. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig.
Rich, talking with Marcell Ozuna. He found out just about an hour into batting practice today, after he finished, that he was named a starter to the National League All-Star team. In fact, I saw Matt Roebuck over him, the Marlins media relations director, and he said, "Really?" And then I got a chance to talk with him. He said, "In my dreams, I always thought about playing in the All-Star game, but I thought maybe coming in the 5th inning. To start, beyond his dreams." He said he'll be a little nervous, but he's looking forward to Tuesday night and having all of his mates with him. On Monday, though, he's going to be an assistant to Giancarlo Stanton. And from what we're hearing, it's going to be interesting to see how Ramos, Ozuna, and the guys all help out Giancarlo Stanton in the Derby.
Yes, the Derby on Monday, the All-Star game on Tuesday. Marlins had a couple of All-Star starters last year, despite their struggles on the field. D. Gordon and Giancarlo Stanton were both voted in by the fans to that starting lineup.
Giancarlo Stanton is participating in the Home Run Derby. I believe his first round opponent is Robinson Cano.
That is maybe the best matchup of the first round. And Ozuna shoots one up into center field for a hit. 1-out single against Jumbo Diaz. And here is Chris Johnson.
Good at bat by Ozuna. Gets deep into this count. We talked about his patience over the course of this year. That's just an elevated slider that he puts a good swing on. Good for him.
I think right behind Ozuna, Chris Johnson is happy that John Lamb is out of the game. His last at bat, 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 67 miles an hour each. And now it's Diaz. And his velocity mid-90s.
Might be one of the biggest spreads of pitches that you've seen per in between at bats. You got 67 max, and now you just see 97. 30 miles an hour is impressive spread on the radar gun.
Ozuna back with a dive. Haven't seen Ozuna steal bases this year.
No, you haven't, because he hasn't yet. Has 0. He's only been caught stealing 1 time.
Last year he had a couple. He had 3 in 14, 5 his rookie year in 13.
Marlins with only 26 stolen bases as a team. Definitely rank in the bottom of the National League as far as the running game is concerned.
Yeah, Mets, I think, are down there as well. Obviously, that's going to improve on July 28th. That's the D. Gordon return date. But at the same time, you would think that some of the other Marlins, oh, he was leaning, and Ozuna got picked off. In a rundown, the ball is dropped. Now it's picked up. Diaz is in the rundown now. Ozuna's still alive, and he's tagged out by Brandon Phillips. Kids, don't try this on your Little League fields anytime soon.
Gets caught leaning there, trying to get a good jump. Ball gets dropped. I think he should have just gone for it right there and make Jumbo make a good throw to second base.
See, I think actually your chances are much better when a guy named Jumbo is in the rundown. The scoring on that is 1-3, 6-3, 1-4.
Good. That's exactly what I had.
I bet. That's longer than a zip coded. But for the Marlins, a mistake by Ozuna. And Johnson's at bat is now at 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes. Justin Bour still testing that ankle. It's nice to have the All-Star break in the middle of something like that, because that'll chew up 4 days off the 15-day DL stay. Breaking ball, Johnson lifts it in the air to right. Jay Bruce is there, and he makes the catch. Marlins and Reds have played 6 eventful innings, and it's 3-2 Fish. bobblehead night here at Marlins Park. Rich Waltz, Jeff Conine on with Craig Minervini as the Marlins and the Reds meet. Edgar Renteria could not be in attendance tonight. He had just undergone surgery and was unable to get the release to travel here. But we wish him well. Thank him for the memories. He's got a sweet-looking bobblehead. And hope that he's doing well.
Got a sweet memory of Edgar Renteria. About 12-11 midnight, after midnight, Game 7. One-handed swing up the middle off Charles Nagy to give us a World Series championship in 1997.
All right, aside from that, what's your second best Edgar Renteria memory?
Just the consistency at shortstop. One of the better, probably not one of the most heralded, but one of the better, most consistent shortstops that I have played with. He made every routine play there was.
Phillips fouls it back.
Wonder, did he get a Gold Glove in San Francisco? The Giants.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think Omar Vizquel won a couple of Gold Gloves with the Giants. He did win a Gold Glove. Actually won 2 of them with St. Louis.
St. Louis.
In 2002, 2003. Breaking ball from Phelps goes to the screen. Edgar Renteria was an all-star 5 times. World Series MVP. Not in '97, in 2010.
How about that?
How about that?
Livan Hernandez was the MVP of the '97 World Series.
Renteria won 3 Gold Gloves, or excuse me, 3 Silver Sluggers to go with his 2 Gold Gloves. Phelps working on Brandon Phillips, who's got 4 Gold Gloves. Fastball foul back. That '97 World Series, he was 9 for 34, 290 average. 9 hits, 2 doubles, and 3 runs driven in. Phillips into left field. That's a base hit.
It's a 9-pitch at bat by Brandon Phillips there. Kind of a cutter that he was trying to do, that front door cutter that he likes to do, again over the middle of the plate. Brandon Phillips wraps it for a single.
So the idea here, it appears, for Don Mattingly is get more than an inning out of Phelps. Try to deliver the game to the 8th. Phelps struck out Adam Duvall in the 6th. Adam Conley lifted after 5 2/3. This is Suarez now.
Cincinnati, with the help of Billy Hamilton, currently sit tied for 3rd in the National League in stolen bases with 65. They've been caught 30 times. Brandon Phillips has 5 stolen bases, been caught 6 times.
oftentimes you can try to build a roster one way, and by injury or trade or somebody in the minor leagues lighting it up, you don't get the roster you're hoping for in terms of team speed, for example. And the Marlins, I think, are a good example of that. They're young and athletic with Yelich and Ozuna and Stanton, but neither of those three are base stealers. Gordon obviously has won a couple of stolen base crowns. He is out for another 2.5, 3 weeks. I think long term, as you look towards 17 or 18, that's an ingredient I think Mike Hill and the rest of the front office would like to mix back into the Marlins lineup and give Don Mattingly some options in terms of putting the game in motion and using the speed in this ballpark, in a park that screams speed.
I think when you look at the composition of the team right now, there's some plus runners on this team. There's Christian Yelich is a plus runner. JT Realmuto is a plus runner. I think you don't have to be a Billy Hamilton or D. Gordon to steal bases. I think you just have to be a smart base runner, know when to take your spots. Obviously, you have to have a manager that's willing to give you the green light to say, hey, and they might have. I don't know if they've got the green light. If they do have the green light, they might be just hesitant to put themselves out there and try to steal bases.
Phillips dives back.
Mike Hargrove, when we were in Baltimore, he wanted you to get going. He would pick out spots and wanted you to try to steal bases. Heck, I had 12 one year.
You had 12?
Yeah. I had 20 in a row at one point, actually.
When you took that to arbitration, did the arbiter do a double take?
He thought it was a misprint.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Why are you laughing?
Full count. Well, we'll see if Phillips is on the move here. Nobody out. He's running. Line to center. Ozuna in the gap is there and makes the catch. Nice work by Marcell Ozuna.
So Brandon Phillips taking off. You see him peek in there. For a second, he thought he might have had it in the gap, but he stops, retreats to first base. And Phelps now, first two batters this inning. 15 pitches. Up to 22 now on his count. But with 4 days off in between his last appearance last Monday against the Mets, plenty left in the tank.
Up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. Phillips around second, headed to third. Ozuna's throw on a line. He is safe. Marcell Ozuna with a rocket from center. Phillips can run, and he just got in. And a bang bang play at third. And the Marlins are looking at it, and they're going to challenge this. Miami's going to challenge this. Our first look, and we'll slow it down for you next. Well, we'll slow it down after this one. Here's a look. There's the hands. But you don't see the glove. There's the glove. Yeah, there is the glove. Just entered on the helmet before the hand gets there. And the glove's moving. You can see the helmet actually moving the glove.
Well, I think.
So is it enough? Did you get enough of the glove there to clearly overturn it? And there's another angle being shown on the scoreboard that we are efforting to get, if that's even a word.
Well, Pat Shine made that decision down in the video room to challenge us pretty quickly. They got 30 seconds to make the decision. I think the Marlins came through much quicker than that.
This should be the view.
Yeah, he's on the bill of the helmet there before the hand gets to the bag. He's out.
Dana Demuth with the call, and a great throw from the all-star starter, the National League, in center field. And even Ozuna gives a fist pump for that one.
What a game changer. Instead of tying run at third base with one out, now you've got a guy at first, 2 outs.
That's a good look there as well. Good work.
Great throw by Marcell Ozuna. And you know, with an arm like his, playing center field, you don't get to see it very often because they play so deep in center with a ground ball up the middle with a guy on second base. You just don't get many opportunities to throw a guy out at home plate. But when an aggressive base runner goes first to third, that's when Marcell Ozuna will shine.
Ivan DeJesus Jr. is the Reds pinch hitter. Kyle Bearclaw is ready in the bullpen. You can hear that bullpen phone. It's like a big truck backing up in front of your house at 7 in the morning. Pinch a penny pinch hitter. There is DeJesus. And that breaking ball from Phelps misses outside. Puerto Rican. He is a 28, right-handed hitter. He is the son of the former major leaguer Ivan DeJesus, who played for the Dodgers, Cubs, Phillies, Cardinals, Yankees, Giants, and Tigers. And Ivan DeJesus Jr. got to the big leagues with the Dodgers in 2011. 17 games there, 23 games in 2012. And he popped into Boston that year for 8 games, but he'd been in the minor leagues all the way up until the end of last year with the Reds. Hitting in the 9 spot. 2-1.
9 at bats as a pinch hitter this year. Just 1 hit.
Leadoff man Zach Cozart is on deck. That's line to left. Yelich gets to it, bangs off the wall. Cabrera arrives at third. Nice play by Yelich to eliminate the bounce off the wall, which up against that scoreboard, it's a cyclone fence, so it could go either way. And that holds the runner, the tying run, at third base.
You saw JT's glove there, down and away on the outside corner. This ball sails over the middle of the plate. Great job by Christian Yelich. He's got to get this before he gets to the wall, like you said, to make sure that guy does not score from first base. Doesn't matter. He's going to make a change.
Yeah, he's going to go get Kyle Bearclaw here. Bearclaw, of course, a great strikeout pitcher. Saw Don Kelly flash through your picture there. And he asked for the baseball. Double switch is coming. We'll sort it out when we return after a Kendall Toyota call to the bullpen. 1. 3-2 Marlins. Reds threatening with 2 outs in the 7th. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. You can watch it every out-of-market game live in HD. Over 400 supported devices. MLB.TV Premium gets you a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. MLB.TV for details. Don Kelly joins the parade, so to speak. Double switch. And here is Kyle Bearclaw. Kelly is slotted in the 9th spot of the order. The pitcher Bearclaw is in Chris Johnson's old spot, which is 6th. You see Bearclaw with inherited runners. Now you've got a strikeout reliever. He leads baseball in strikeouts per 9 innings. And we got a guy at the plate who's 0 for 7 in the series with 4 strikeouts in Zach Kozar. Bearclaw's strikeout pitch is that swing and miss slider.
Opponent's just hitting .202 off of Kyle Bearclaw. 59 Ks in just 34 innings pitched.
But the Reds have an opportunity here. And remember that challenge by the Marlins on the play at 3rd, the great throw by Ozuna. Phillips was ruled safe and then after replay called out. That's rather large right now in this inning. Counts 1-2.
Good fastball, just catching the inside corner there by Bearclaw. Goes back with that nasty slider away.
Here's a 1-2. Breaking ball, bouncer. Echeverria straightens, throws, and got him. And Bearclaw bails out Phelps. And the Marlins hang on to the lead with some help from the starting outfielder in the National League. Inning stretch in Miami. High-speed AT&T rapid replay. Here we go. 2-man on, fly ball right field, and Jay Bruce overran it and landed behind him. Adam Conley, JT Realmuto, they would score. Martin Prado has his 3rd hit. And the Marlins went from 2-1 down to 3-2 up, and that's where we are now. The Reds are very high on this young man, Michael Lorenzen. He throws hard. Very athletic pitcher.
Listed at 6'3", 215.
Derek Dietrich starts the bottom of the 7th. And a strike. Michael Lorenzen, your neck of the woods, Southern California. Cal State Fullerton. One and two.
Just another power arm out of the bullpen. They're a dime a dozen now, aren't they? Guys throw 95. Used to be something special, Rich.
Well, I don't know that it's a dime.
You know what I mean.
Major
It's so commonplace now.
Major League minimum has gone up since you were a first-year player with the Kansas City Royals.
Indeed.
And making what, $25,000 a year.
I think Major League minimum. I'm not that old.
I know you're not. You weren't on that 1876 Reds team we talked about. Fernando Rodney in the bullpen.
My first full year in the big leagues, I believe, was 109.
109?
Yeah.
Wow. It's now what, just about 500?
510, 515.
Slider and a strike to Echeverria.
Well, you can see why the Cincinnati Reds are pretty excited about Lorenzen in their future. Mid-90s, mid-upper 90s fastball, good slider. Saw a couple of really good changeups to Derek Dietrich.
He's one part, Raciel Iglesias, maybe another part why the bullpen has started to stabilize for the Reds. I mean, the bullpen numbers were way up to start the year. Check swing, and that kicks all the way to the screen. Echeverria is going to get down to first base. To strike out in a wild pitch.
Oh, actually hit the umpire.
The Reds bullpen ERA in April was 6.21, 7.25 in May, and so far in July 2.70. Now Kelly, his first at bat since coming into the double switch. That's an easy 96 coming out of his hand.
It is an easy 96. Good swing by Don Kelly last night. Got his first hit in his return with the Marlins after spending long road to recovery after getting a broken finger in the second game he played last year, and then recovering from that. He ended up tearing his UCL in his elbow and got Tommy John surgery.
He also said he had a little bit of a shoulder issue starting the year because, you know, you're rehabbing from Tommy John. You've gone through it, the throwing protocol. And there's other parts of your body that have to be adjusted to throwing the baseball again. Busted bat. Phillips sweeps it to short. Cozart's turn is in time. And the Reds turn 2. Marlins done in the 7th. On to the 8th. One-run game, and a good game here. Miami on top of Cincinnati. Games on the go on DirecTV and AT&T. Just download the app. Play Fox Sports Florida and the Marlins wherever you go. Fox Sports Go. Miguel Rojas at second base. Fernando Rodney on the mound. So the rotation for Miami here has gone from Conley 5 2/3 innings to David Phelps, who went an inning, gave up 3 hits, struck out 1. Barraclough got a really big out. That was Kozar to end the 7th. And here is all-star reliever for the 3rd time in his career, Fernando Rodney. Speedy Billy Hamilton. Hamilton, Votto, Bruce.
When you look at the Marlins back into the bullpen now with the acquisition of Fernando Rodney, who while in San Diego was 17 for 17 save opportunities. A.J. Ramos now 26 for 27. He got 42 saves in the back end of the Marlins pen out of 43 opportunities.
Rodney gets strike. It's 1-1. Speedy Billy Hamilton should not be confused with sliding Billy Hamilton, who is in the Hall of Fame. Yelich, it's a long run, but he gets there. He makes the catch. So from Speedy Billy Hamilton to sliding Billy Hamilton to the effervescent Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, thank you very much. I was talking to Fernando Rodney today about his famous crooked hat, which it seems to bother you if you're on the other team, and you kind of like if he's on your team. And he said, that's what he told me. He said his father always used to wear his hat like that. And when his father passed away, it was something he thought about doing and decided to put it on the side just like Dad did. Now, he knows he gets a lot of grief for that, too, from traditional baseball people, because you kind of want to straighten the hat out. But it's in deference to his dad, who passed away, he said, in the early 2000s. And the Padres even did a hat. I think it was a shirt with a hat tilted, and it kind of has become a thing with some of the teams he's played for.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we went through some of the pitchers that do wear it that way. One of the more beloved Marlins, Dontrelle Willis, had a little bit of a crooked hat going. I think CC Sabathia has sported that look.
But what do those two guys have in common?
They're lefties?
Yes, I'm telling you, lefties cannot put a hat on straight. Countless lefties I've played with, they just can't do it. I don't know. I say, hey, dude, your hat's crooked. He's like, no, it's not. And they put it down, and it was slightly off kilter, because I think lefties are just a little bit off.
So you think a follow-up question to Fernando was your father left-handed?
That would have been a good question.
Huh. So that's your theory. Well, Craig wasn't aware of the theory when he talked to him, and that's the first that I've heard that theory. It sounded like a foul ball, although it may have hit a catcher's glove and an umpire. Let's watch the path of this baseball.
Is that a good one strike?
No. Yep. Glove umpire. And that last sound, it was a plastic type sound. The umpires wear not only a chest protector, it's got a little bit of a shoulder pad, much like the catchers use. You can see Ed Hickok adjusting his.
Respect of the catcher, give the umpire a little bit of time when he might have missed a pitch and the umpire gets hit on the way by. sure everybody's okay.
Rodney misses in to Votto. Votto 0 for 6 in the series. A couple bounce outs today. Walked in the first. Choked up on the bat with 3 and 2. And he bangs one into center field for a hit. So Votto a 1-out single. Rodney gets Jay Bruce now.
Fastball up in the zone, Joey Votto. Yeah, it's like using like a 30-inch bat as much as he's choking up.
Jay Bruce has struck out, double, flied out. And of course, a starring role in this one in a way that he'd like to erase with one swing here, and that was that fly ball that got behind him for a double. 2 runs scored. There's the Rodney changeup. It's a ball and a strike. These two guys will be teammates on the National League All-Star team in San Diego. Votto, tying run at first. Rodney's out in front, 1 and 2. For the velocity that comes out of Rodney's right hand in his fastball, and we've seen him touch in the upper 90s. The delivery is just very fascinating. Kind of a stiff leg, spins around it. The guy at that size is usually a kind of a drop and drive guy that gets a lot of velocity out of those legs.
Yeah, talk about extreme arm strength. There's no help from the lower body here whatsoever. He's just picking that front foot up just an inch off the ground, sliding it forward, and just all arm from there. You can see how you'd think he'd almost catch a spike. It's so close to the ground there.
He does get some drive, but then whips right up around that left leg. Little tapper up the line. Kelly has it, retreats to first and gets the out. The Reds have the tying run in scoring position, but there's 2 outs. And here comes Adam Duvall.
Around Fernando Rodney, he acclimated to this team almost immediately. We saw him at the Fort Bragg game come off the game, and Cotton Eye Joe started playing on the speaker system, and he broke out into a little dance.
Yes, much to the enjoyment of his brand new teammates.
Oh, they love that.
It's fun to see the players now wearing that Fort Bragg stuff around the clubhouse. Everyone's going to get in the seats, sporting caps and shirts that they were given.
You talked to a lot of the players and listened to their interviews after that game, and most of them said it was the best atmosphere and one of the most important or impressive games they've ever played in. Even Don Mattingly, playing at Yankee Stadium, said that was the most incredible atmosphere I've ever been a part of.
Check swing, and Duvall did not go. Ben May down at first base.
Not even close.
Yeah, Barry Bonds said, hey, it wasn't me, it was him. That conversation is going on between Brandon Phillips and the Marlins bench. Phillips is in the on deck circle.
Brandon Phillips, one of the more affable players you'll find in baseball. Got that big giant smile.
One, two. Got him. Fernando Rodney takes care of the 8th. Miami hanging on to a 1-run lead, and the bullpen so far has protected it. Enjoy having Fernando Rodney around. So does the center fielder apparently too. Well, Lorenzen will stay in there. He's a guy that Brian Price will get multiple innings out of. And the hard-throwing right-hander faces the top of the order. Real Muto, Prado, and Yelich.
Quick note on Fernando Rodney is, of course, you see the sideways hat, but another part of his game that we probably will not see here is the bow and arrow after each save that he, I think, pays homage to the hometown where he grew up. That might have bent a few cat feathers in his career when he did that after every save.
Is that the equivalent of a pitcher's bat flip?
Could be, or you know, the fist pump, or the. We've seen a number of closers and closing out a game and they do their little antics, but that one I think was different at the time, and a lot of people took exception to that.
Jeff, I think those days are starting to. I think the Cold War is starting to thaw. Okay, I think little by little we're allowing a little more personality into the game.
Are you saying I should lighten up? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just an observation.
Why did my face get red when I start talking about that?
I know you bat flipped somewhere.
Never.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, on the Fox when I did the instructional thing.
That's right.
Swing,
we have it. We have it on.
I'm sure you do.
We have it on tape.
It's the only one you'll ever see on tape.
Prado up. Fastball in. And I'm sure as a pitcher at UCLA, after closing out a game, you moonwalked behind the mound.
I wish I was good enough to close a game at UCLA.
1-0 the count. Marlins Park. Evening arriving in Miami. Marlins trying to win their second straight against the Reds. Up 3-2. Adam Conley for 5 2/3, and the bullpen since has held a 1-run lead. Another insurance run would be awfully nice with A.J. Ramos getting heated up in Miami's pen.
Lorenzen having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone right now. I would think Prado's probably going to take until he gets a strike here. Yeah, it looks like he's taking all the way now, 3-0. It's a veteran hitter saying, hey, this guy's having problems finding the strike zone. I'm not going to help him out by swinging at a pitch outside the strike zone.
Well, you got the big bats lined up too. Yelich, Stanton, Ozuna. A strike there. A 3-1 count on the Marlins third baseman. By the way, as we talk about all-stars and all of that, Prado is hitting .323 right now with 3 hits today, 2 doubles and a single. It's a called strike. Yep, it was on the outside corner and right at the knees. That's a perfect pitch. It's where it crosses the front of the plate.
Talk about Martin Prado at the bat in .323. Good at bat there, taking the walk. Just 3 errors on the year and 80 games played. Outstanding defensively.
You know, on a day where Jay Bruce was named an all-star in replacement of Dexter Fowler and Yoenis Cespedes, Starling Marte also announced from the Pirates. Matt Jenkins is coming out. You think about a guy like Christian Yelich and the year that he's had. Yelich has been in the top 10 in on-base percentage. He's got 23 doubles, so that puts him in the top 10 in doubles as well. His batting average has been over 300 consistently. He's played his usual Gold Glove caliber left field. And had big hits for the Marlins this year, including a home run and a double yesterday, driving in 2 in a 3-1 win.
When you look at the last calendar year of Yelich's stint here, he had the back injury early last year, missed pretty much a good part of the first 2 months, was hitting the low 200s, and then from there until now has not stopped hitting. He's got to be in the mid or 320s range for the last 162 games. And that's exactly what the Marlins felt they were getting when they signed him to the long-term deal. They knew that he was going to be a perennial 300 hitter and probably vie for a batting title at some point in his career.
Fastball is low. That was close. That was in too. And it was close.
Well, usually when Yelly takes a pitch, it's a ball.
It's caught and held, and that's a strikeout. Cabrera just got it in the webbing of his catcher's glove.
And 3 strikeouts today for Christian Yelich. This is a good call by umpire.
They caught it cleanly. Stanton now, and he takes a strike. Quiet day for Stanton. 0 for 3, though he did line out to the warning track in center in the 6th inning. Busted bat into center field. That's a hit. Realmuto scores. And the Marlins get an insurance run on a play in which I think everybody in the ballpark froze when the bat sailed into the seats. And that was a jagged edge of the business end of Stanton's bat. The ball sort of lofted out into center field gently.
I don't think there's many men in baseball that could, with that hit on the bat, to to be able to get that up the middle is pretty impressive. Let's hope that
I'll tell you where
got out of the way.
I'll tell you the saving grace on that. That bat hit the fence. You see the fence above the blue and orange tile?
Yes.
I believe it hit that fence. You could hear it as it went up into the seats. Now Ozuna. Fastball strike.
But just to be able to muscle up that ball into the center field from where the position hit it on the bat, that's pretty amazing.
There's the express. Watch the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, right off that fence.
I think people were still over there picking up the pieces of the wood.
0-2 is in to Ozuna. That's a big run. 4-2 lead. Stanton has driven in 48 now. And Ozuna strikes out. You know what's amazing about Stanton? He went through just an awful slump. Let's stop there. And let's go to the plate. Ichiro emerges as the pinch hitter. And you see the hit counter, and here's Ichiro arriving with 2,990. Prado at second, Stanton at first. Fastball in.
Ichiro sits at 29.90. Next man on the list, the great Roberto Clemente.
At an even 3,000. And he's facing high velocity. Although that looked like a two-seamer at 92. We've seen Lorenzen up in the 96, 97 neighborhood. Ten away from that magic mark. Fastball's up. Didn't look like it was in. Or if it was, it wasn't in that much. Crowd reacting.
Not happy that they're not. See if Ichiro gets a pitch to hit at some point in this at bat.
You would think he'd get that same fastball here.
I would absolutely think that.
We've not seen Ichiro go deep this year. Comebacker. And a flip to first in time to get him. But Giancarlo Stanton with an RBI single. A.J. Ramos has a 2-run lead to work with in the ninth. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. 4-2. Now, come on. Don't play with that. Don't play with that.
No sharp objects. Little double bubble there to right field. See? Double bubble double.
A.J. Ramos trying to shut it down. Trying to give Miami their 46th win of the season. So here is Ramos, an all-star. Brandon Phillips, Eugenio Suarez, and Ramon Cabrera are scheduled. And it's Phillips who climbs in against Ramos. AJ worked a 1-2-3 night in last night's game. A sharp breaking ball for a strike. Starts the Phillips at bat. He's 2 for 3 is Brandon Phillips. And as I noted earlier, he's got a hairline fracture in that left hand. He was struck by a pitch yesterday. He was hit in the 7th inning. But the break is such that he feels that he can play through it while it heals. That's not fun, but Phillips going to try to do that.
So he's got a little piece of padding taped to the outside of his glove, just a little extra protection in case the ball comes in there again. A.J. Ramos, while not overpowering, has such good off-speed stuff at his fastball. You talked about that perceived velocity. He throws 190, 192 up there. He's got such a great changeup and curveball that it looks much harder than that.
Phillips stays alive. The Marlins charging towards the All-Star break. And they'd love to do it with a win here. And obviously tomorrow. A win here would be 46-41. Marlins didn't get their 46th win last year until August 12th. Echeverria! Oh, wow! Elevate and hang, and long enough to make the catch.
He's checking himself out on the replay. Why not?
He said, I look pretty good.
Looked like he kind of got off the wrong foot, didn't know when to go up. He got up just high enough and comes down with it. Great play.
And a nice ovation from the crowd. Suarez now.
Talked a lot about the Marlins defense over the last month or so and how well they've played. Currently tied for 2nd in the National League as far as overall fielding percentage, and that man right there, you got to believe we're going to see him win a Gold Glove at some point in his career.
Gold Glove finalist last 2 years. One. Righty on righty changeup.
There's that changeup, devastating changeup by Ramos. He's got that chopper kind of changeup, you know, the helicopter chopper kind of thing that goes straight down. And Rodney's spinner very similar.
And a breaking ball finishes off Suarez. 2 outs in the 9th.
Goes with the curveball for the strikeout. I'm telling you, AJ, when he's got more than one pitch on, he is devastating.
Now the switch hitting catcher Ramon Cabrera, who is 2 for 3, has doubled and singled. Ramos with a 1-0 count. Two and 0. Ramos off the mound after missing on the 2-0 pitch. It's 26 saves, third in the National League. Mark Melancon with 27 for the Pirates. Juris Familia with 31 for the Mets. That one darts in. Trotting to first is Cabrera, and here comes Jose Peraza. And a pinch runner, Tyler Holt.
Peraza, fleet-footing infielder. In his career is 12 for 12 in stolen bases, including 9 for 9 this season. Played second base, shortstop, left field, center field. He's DH'd.
He flied out in a pinch hitting appearance last night. Don Kelly holding the runner. Ramos against Peraza. And the breaking ball has been his best pitch here in the ninth. That one's out. One ball, one strike.
We mentioned before, on a nightly basis, A.J. Ramos could feel that changeup, and that could be his best pitch of the night, or the curveball could be his best pitch of the night. And you've got 3+ pitches that you can throw for strikes. Puts a lot into a hitter's head.
That one came in at 85 miles an hour. And he's 1 and 2 quickly on the pinch hitter, Jose Peraza. One, two. Runner goes. It's out, and Holt ends up at second. Count 2 and 2. 5 2/3 of Adam Conley, an inning of David Phelps, a big out from Kyle Barraclough, a scoreless inning from Fernando Rodney. And here is Ramos trying to shut it down. Got him! Ball game! And the Marlins get win number 46. Back to 5 over for the Fish, with 1 game to play in the first half. And what an effort by the Marlins bullpen. A real nice start from Adam Conley. A great throw from Marcell Ozuna. And some big hits along the way from Martin Prado. Coming up is Checkers, Marlins Live. Greg Minervini will be with you. Martin Prado with his big day, clubhouse reaction, post game. All of that is coming up here on Fox Sports Florida. And A.J. Ramos with high fives.
Boy, Rich, don't forget about the help that the Cincinnati Reds gave the Marlins today. A pass ball in the first inning led to a run. And then a misplay by Jay Bruce in right field with 2 outs and 2 on. Led to 2 more.
True, However, part of winning is taking advantage of things, and the Marlins were able to take advantage of that, and they're beating a team who has an under 500 record, a cellar dweller in the Central of the National League. The Marlins have taken care of business. That's been a bit of a challenge for this young team in the first half. Maybe that's a good sign heading towards the All-Star break. And joining us now, an All-Star himself, A.J. Ramos. A.J., first, congratulations on the win and on the save.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tell us about your inning. Let's talk tonight, then we'll talk Tuesday in San Diego. One of the things that we marvel at is you come into a game and it's almost like you've got a checklist of pitches and you're looking to see which one was working. It appeared the breaking ball was your best one today.
Yeah, my fastball was cutting. Normally throw cutters, but for some reason my four seam was cutting a lot. But I was able to command the slider, throw it in, back door to, or front door to righties and back door to lefties or whatever. And you know, I was able to control that, and luckily, I mean, one of my pitches has got to work. Changeup was pretty good today too. I was able to locate that as well, so it was good enough today.
Nice job, AJ. When you're introduced as All-Star AJ Ramos, I mean, what is that? What kind of feeling does that emote for you?
Well, I mean, yesterday when I was coming into the game, I always hear my music and everything, and they're announcing me, and they said now coming in, 2016 All-Star AJ Ramos, and they kind of give me chills going in. Then I had to refocus and get ready to get guys out, but. It's an amazing feeling, and I'm enjoying every second of it.
People ask you about what was it like when you heard. I want to know, what was it like when you called your family?
Oh yeah, when I called my dad, I said, hey, I'm just calling to let you know that I'm gonna be an All-Star. And what he said, he goes, all right, well, there's a flight that gets in at 5:30 and a flight that gets in at 6. I already booked it already. I already knew that you were gonna be an All-Star. And it was kind of a cool moment. Then when I called my mom, she was crying, and she always finds a way to kind of make me tear up a little bit too. But that was probably the best part of it, is being able to tell my parents, because I mean, obviously without them, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am right now. So I mean, all the love to them.
You know, soak it up. It's an amazing experience, and I want a T-shirt.
Yeah, I'll get you a T-shirt.
hey, what kind of guy is Fernando Rodney? I know he seems to have fit in nicely in shortening the game and what Don Mattingly wants. What's he like? I know he's got the funny hat, and he seems to be a fun-loving guy.
No, he's a really cool guy. I mean, he's quiet, but anytime you ask him anything, he's always gonna, answer and everything. He's always helping me out with my changeup as well. And here comes somebody.
Oh, that's an All-Star.
Thank goodness you had the ears covered.
Wow.
Thanks, Bear.
Yeah, thank you, Bear.
Yeah, no, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and like I said, he's constantly. I'm always asking him a question, because I mean, you want to learn from a guy like that, established closer. I got in my mouth. But yeah, and that tastes awful, by the way. So, yeah.
All right, we'll let you go, but one last question.
Okay.
You got your 46th win last year on August 12th. You get 46 right now. Biggest difference for you as a team in that clubhouse compared to this time last year?
We're a lot more loose. I think we're a lot more together as a unit. I mean, everybody likes each other. There's nobody in there that we don't like. We want to come to the field and be around each other all the time, and that's huge. I mean, I think the chemistry of the team is huge. And when we're fighting for each other and we're playing for each other, I mean, wins come. So I think that's a huge difference. And Mattingly's keeping it really loose in there, and I think that's a big part of it. And it's an amazing time right now to be a Marlin.
Even the Bear's a good guy. Even the Monkey's a good guy.
The Monkey and the Bear kind of keep everything a little more loose too. Sometimes too loose. We have to regulate on that. But yeah, they're awesome.
Very nice. AJ, thank you for hanging in there with us. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on being a National League All-Star. We look forward to tomorrow and certainly on Tuesday night.
Thank you. Hey, did you guys keep me on air just long enough for them to come out?
Because that was kind of
talking
about.
Yeah, that was kind of a long, a lot of questions.
You know, he got a text. Niner got a text halfway through the interview, so I'm not sure.
See, you guys are scheming against me.
I will say the Bear had a limp, so I'm not sure who it was, but he might be as big as a bear. Just saying.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, AJ, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice win for the Fish, and a tight one here. The bullpen was terrific. A.J. Ramos finished it off. Phelps, Barraclough, Rodney, Ramos. A great start from Adam Conley and some big hits. Martin Prado, the biggest. All of that coming up on Marlins Live.